Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel.
So I am a little bit late on uploading. I do apologize. My husband was out of town for a few days, so I was like full on mommy duty, 1000%. Didn't really get any work done, but I'm back now. However, my face is like going crazy again. It's like swollen through here. I'm getting blisters underneath my eyes. I don't really know what's going on. So I may have to do a few voiceovers for the next few days just to give my face some time to like heal.
Anyways, recap for Siesta Key. This episode was crazy. Like, I knew this season was going to be a good season, but let me tell you guys, Jordona is what the show needed. I don't like her. I don't like her character, okay? Like, I don't know her in real life, but the character that she plays, don't like her. But we needed her because she brings all the drama. I'm going to get into it on the episode. It was called I Can't Help It If Someone's Attracted to Me. And it starts off kind of where it always starts off, at Sam's house. Almost every episode starts off at Sam's house. So Juliet, Sam, Amanda, Mike, and Camilla, they're all at Sam's house doing like some early day drinking. Juliet says that she did not say one word to Kelsey at Madison and Ish's engagement. So that's what they first start talking about, like how the engagement party went. And she's like, yeah, I didn't talk to Kelsey at all. She was like, it was kind of awkward. We didn't speak, but whatever. Amanda then asked if Kelsey is invited to the private island because the last episode, that's where it left off, at Madison and Ish's engagement party. And Sam and Juliet had just invited everyone on a private island. Everyone. So Amanda's like, is she invited to the private island with us? What's going to happen? You know, like what's happening? Juliet's like, yeah, she's going because Sam reached out to her. Then we hear Juliet on a voiceover say, listen, I didn't really want Kelsey to come, but Sam reached out to Kelsey and invited her anyways. Sam has this idea that if they go to this private island, that maybe Juliet and Kelsey can like make amends. So he reaches out to Kelsey. We get to see the call, a little bit of the call. And he's like, look, we're going to be on this private island. I think you and Max should come. I think it'll be fun. It'll give you guys an opportunity to maybe kind of make amends. Kelsey's like, okay. She's like, I'll go. But I don't think Kelsey ever really had any intentions on making amends. But she was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. So Juliet tells the group there. She's like, Sam reached out and invited her, so I think she's coming. Camilla then asked Sam if he invited Brandon, and he's like, yes, I did. So she's like, oh, great. This is going to be wonderful. The next scene is Madison and Ish at their new house, and they're cooking a Puerto Rican dish that Ish's mom has always made. He's teaching Madison how to make it. They sit down to eat, and they start talking about the invitation to the private island. And Ish says that it was nice for them to extend the invitation. And Madison says that it could be like a pre-wedding honeymoon. And then after they get married, they could go somewhere that's like opposite of a private island. You know, they just went somewhere sunny and a beach. After their wedding, maybe they can go somewhere like the mountains, snow, and something like that. Madison says that after seeing the way that Kelsey and Juliet were at the engagement party, that she thinks that they could at least be civil on the private island. She's like, you know, they didn't really talk at my engagement party. So I feel like if we're on a private island, they will at least be civil. So the next scene is Brandon. He is visiting his baby Quincy. Of course, his baby mama Delaney is there as well. He tells Delaney that he is going out of town for a month. And you could tell her face just like drops. Delaney's like one of those people when she gets mad, you could see it all over her face. Like she does not hide her facial expressions. She's like, she's mad about it, and you could tell. So he's like, I'm going out of town for a month. I got invited by a friend to go to this private island. So I'm going to be gone for a while. Her response is aggravation. You could tell. She says, well, a month is a long time to be away from your baby. She's like, a baby grows really fast. And in a month, he's going to be changed a lot. So you're going to be away from your baby for like a month. And he's like, yeah, you know, I know they grow really fast. And I'm going to hate being away from him. But, you know, I really got to take this opportunity to go. I can get some work done while I'm over there. And then Delaney says, well, maybe we just need to make sure this private island is okay for the baby. She's like, and then we could just go with you. And I'm like, she did not just invite herself to this private island. And she says, Daddy, can we come? And Brandon's like, well, I really don't know much about this island. I don't know if it's like okay for a baby to be there. And he's like, besides, like, I was invited by someone else. He's like, if I could invite you guys myself, like I would, but I was invited by someone, and I'm also going to have several of my exes there. So I just think it would be really awkward to bring you and the baby there. Delaney's not happy about it. She asked, she's like, so you're gonna go to a private island with all your ex-girlfriends? Back over at Sam's house, they're talking about Brandon, because Camilla had just asked, like, did you invite Brandon? So Amanda's like, so what's he gonna do? Like, is Brandon gonna bring the baby? Is he gonna bring his baby mama? Juliet's response is like, I don't know, but I hope not. Amanda was like, we don't have babies for a reason. Like, we're still young, we want to party, we're doing what we got to do to make sure we don't get pregnant, so we can enjoy our lives still. So we don't want to go to no private island and him bring a baby. And then Camilla, she's like, I do not want to see that baby. And when I first heard her say that, I was like, oh, that's a little, you know, it's not the baby's fault. I was like, man, that's a little harsh, you know. But right after she said that, she started crying. And she's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to cry. Amanda and Juliet, they're like, what is wrong with you? Like, what's wrong? She tells them that she's been holding something in for a while. She tells the girls that past February, she actually found out that she was pregnant with Brandon's baby, and that she went to the doctor, her and Brandon, and she found out that it was an ectopic pregnancy, where the baby is in your tubes and the baby cannot grow in your tubes, so you have to have like a D&C. That was the first time that she's ever had surgery by herself due to COVID. Like, Brandon could not even be in there with her. He had to be like outside the hospital. So she says Brandon was there for her. He waited outside the hospital and he took care of her afterwards. And she said they really got close, they really bonded. And at the time, Delaney was actually about to give birth to Brandon's baby. So she's crying and she's like, I had no idea that when I was losing our baby, he already knew that he had someone else pregnant. And she's like, it just really like hurts my feelings, you know, because he had both of us pregnant at the same time. He knew, he didn't tell us. I'm dealing with losing a baby, and I'm thinking that we're growing close because he's there taking care of me. But in reality, he had someone else knocked up as well. And I'm like heartbroken for her. I cried during that scene. I'm not going to lie. I cried watching that because I just felt some of her pain. I'm like, oh my goodness, how terrible is that? Of course, Juliet and Amanda, they are shocked, they are saddened, they both are like on the verge of tears and shocked that she was able to hold this in as long as she did. So like the next day, Juliet is at work, she's with Ashley. Ashley is pregnant, like on the verge of giving birth, and Juliet tells Ashley that Sam rented an island for a month and that she is about to be gone for a month. Now, mind you, Juliet works for Ashley, so Ashley's like, skrr, hold up, what, a month? You work for me. How are you going to do your work for a month if you're on an island? And Juliet tells her, look, I'm going to get it done. I promise you. The island has Wi-Fi. I'm going to make sure every day I do everything you needed me to do. I'm just going to be doing it from an island. Ashley also asked like about the swimwear. She's like, how are you going to work on your swimwear if you're there? And Juliet tells her it's going to be the perfect place actually, because what I need to do is I have a lot of samples of my swimwear. I need to start taking pictures and posting pictures of my swimwear to promote it. So Ashley's like, okay, that's a good idea. That actually will work out well. Juliet does like a little presentation. She has like these little boards with some of her bathing suits on it. She shows Ashley and Ashley is really impressed. Ashley's like, this literally looks professional. I love the bathing suits. I love the way you presented it. I love that they're on these boards. It looks really good. Like, I think you're doing a great job. She's like, but look, I'm going to say okay to this vacation, this 1 month vacation, but you need to make sure you do at least half a day every day that you're there. Make sure you're doing my work and your work, or I'm gonna get you when you get back. Like, if you don't take care of my work, I'm big and pregnant right now, but when you get back, like, I'm gonna get you, you know. So like, I can't chase after you, I can't be calling you or texting you every day because I am big and pregnant. So I just need you to make sure you do what needs to be done. And Juliet's like, absolutely, I'm gonna get it done, I promise you. Now also, they do talk about Kelsey's line. Ashley asked her, she's like, do you know where Kelsey is as far as like when she plans to launch? And do you feel like she's a competition? Do you feel like you are in competition with Kelsey? And Juliet tells her, she's like, from what I've heard, Kelsey's line is not as high end as mine. I don't know when she's going to launch, but just from everything that I'm hearing, her swimmer line is not as high end as mine. So we are at Kelsey's house. Kelsey and Max, they are packing for this vacation. Kelsey says that she's nervous to go because of Juliet, and she doesn't feel like Juliet actually wants her to be there. She also says that the island is going to be a perfect place for them to shoot some photos for her swimwear, and that she's going to do a soft launch while there. That she's bringing several samples of her swimwear as well. She's going to take some pictures, and that she's going to go ahead and do the soft launch so she can get like an estimate of like what's popular, you know. Max seems very supportive. He's like, you got this, we got this, we're gonna do this, it's gonna be great, I love a good island, we're gonna have fun, and you're gonna get your work done. Awesome. Back over at Ish and Madison's house, they're packing. Madison's like really excited. She's like, we're gonna get a month together, this is gonna be so amazing. And Ish breaks the news to her that he may actually have to leave the island. He's like, I have several meetings that I absolutely have to do, and if I don't have service, like good enough service to like jump on a Zoom call for these meetings, I'm gonna have to leave. And Madison gets upset, and she's like, I thought this was gonna be like a time where we had time together. You stay gone, and I've been so excited thinking that we're gonna have a whole month together on this private island, and now you're telling me that you're gonna have to leave. And he's like, look, I may not have to. If our service is well enough for me to be able to jump on a Zoom call, I'll stay the whole time. But if not, I'm just like forewarning you that I will have to leave so I can take care of those meetings. And then Madison's like, well, what about my anxiety? It's just like, don't worry, you got this. Juliet comes through on a voiceover, and she goes, yeah. So Madison's been dealing with anxiety for a while now, but she did not want to talk about it. It's always been something that she's really kept hidden from the public. She didn't talk about it on the show. And that's what Juliet's letting us know in this voiceover, that Madison has really bad anxiety, and she's always been scared to talk about it. But with them going on the private island, Ish possibly having to leave, it could definitely affect Madison. She may really struggle. Now we go over to Amanda's house. Amanda and Camilla, they are really close this season. Camilla shows up. They're going to ride together to the plane to go to the private island. After they pack, they sit on the bed for a little bit, and they talk about like how things are going to be. You know, that BG is going to be there, but Will is supposed to be there as well. That's something that Amanda said. She's like, Will's supposed to be there. Like, how are you going to feel being on this island with Will and then BG there? And Camilla said, I'm having a hard time. I don't want to be with Brandon, but when I see him, it makes it hard. But she said, Will has been hitting me up a lot. I like him. He makes me smile, but I just don't know if I'm ready to move on yet. Next scene, we actually see BG pull up to Will's work, or that's what it looks like. So Will is walking out of what looks like maybe a restaurant or something. Seems like he got like some type of uniform on. Brandon yells at him like, hey, Will, come here. So Will turns around, walks over to him. BG says, look, I kind of feel disrespected because you're like hitting Camilla up. Out of all the girls on Siesta Key, you're trying to talk to Camilla. Will is like, hold up, I thought she was single. Is she single now? And Brandon's like, she's newly single. Right now, anybody that she gets with is going to be a rebound. He's like, but I'm going to get her back too, so I just don't think anybody should even be trying to mess with her, really. Will is like, I think that you're just a little scared of a little competition. BG's response is, this ain't no competition. I know how Camilla feels. And Will's like, well, we'll let Camilla be the judge of that because I think she sees it as competition as well. The scene basically ends where Will is like, looks like we're just going to have to let Camilla choose who she wants to be with. Like, we'll fight for her and she can choose. And BG's like, all right, bet. And they turn around and they walk off. The next scene is actually them arriving at the island. I did skip over where they're on the jet. Not much. It just shows them like drinking a little bit on the jet. Not even any talking. But they arrive on the island. And everyone goes to find their little villa. It looks like Kelsey, Max, Ish, and Madison, they're going to be sharing like a house together. And Sam, Juliet, Max, and Hannah, they're going to be sharing one together. And these houses are like big, nice houses on this island. So Sam and Juliet, they're over at their little house. And Juliet says that she's actually worried about Camilla because Camilla's space that she's going to be staying in is close to BG's. And she's like, I'm really worried because she's going to have to see him. Like when they're going in at night, they'll be right beside each other. So I'm just kind of worried about how that's going to play out. And then Sam and his friend, they're like, oh, BG's going to be trying to sneak over there. Watch. They're going to probably, end up sleeping together. Juliet's like, I hope not, because I know that she really wants to like be done with him. But it's going to be hard because she's having to see him a lot. So I just hope that she's able to be strong and get over him. Juliet then says that she feels like if BG tries to get with Camilla and Camilla turns him down, that he will end up getting with Jordana. And I don't know, you guys, every time someone talks about Jordana, the way that Sam looks, I just feel like Sam and Jordana have something going on behind Juliet's back. Like, he always looks guilty as heck when Jordana is mentioned. So anyways, she says, you know, that's just the way that Jordana is. Like, we can expect that. She's going to sleep with someone. So the next scene actually shows Jordana and Camilla walking to their, like, rooms. So the way that it looks, it literally looks like Kelsey and Max and Ish and Madison got one huge house on the island. Sam, Juliet, Max, and Hannah got another big house on the island. But all the other people just got, like, it looks like there's, like, a strip of rooms, like, nice rooms. And everybody else, they're staying in these rooms, right? So they're like all beside each other. So Camilla and Jordana, they're walking to their rooms. So Jordana actually stops Camilla and she's like, look, we're going to be really close to each other for the next month. We could at least try to get along. And Camilla says, look, if you want to get along with me, don't try to sleep with my ex-boyfriend. Jordana's response was, I don't know, we'll see. So I was like, wow, okay, you can't be like, oh, I don't know, I think he's kind of cute, but I'll try not to. Just nothing like that. You're going to be like, oh, no, we'll see. Next scene, they are back at Kelsey's house, and they're talking about how beautiful it is. And then Ish and Madison, they're like, this would have been a great place for, like, our engagement photos. Kelsey's like, well, it can be. Like, take them here. Ish says to Max, he's like, that's right. You have an eye for that. So, like, could you take our pictures? Could you take our engagement pictures? And Max is like, absolutely, I can do it. So they plan their engagement pictures, but then they start talking about house rules. Kelsey's like, look, we're going to be living here for a month with each other. I think we need to lay down some rules. And one of the rules, no walking around naked. Another rule is wake up every day with a positive attitude. And then Kelsey's last rule is that is a Juliet free zone. So no one talk about Juliet. Like, she don't want to hear it. Nothing about Juliet in their house. Everybody agrees to the rules, and then they agree to having a good time. So they all meet up on the beach for the first night. They are having like a pirate themed party. Everyone has their outfits on. Everyone looks really cute. And they all meet up and they're just saying like, look, we're going to be here for a month. No drama. Let's have fun. Let's all try to get along together, and let's just live our best life for this next month, you know. Then we see like various parts of the night. We see like partying, we see dancing, we see people at the bar. It's just like clips. One of the clips that we see is Jordana and Brandon dancing. Jordana is all up on Brandon. A little bit later that night, there are actually two different like spaces. One space we have one group of people, and the other space we have the other group of people. It's like Kelsey's people, Juliet's people. So over here, they're talking to Kelsey about like her being invited to the island. They're like, do you think Juliet invited you as like a peace offering? Do you think that she wants to like make amends with you? And Kelsey's like, no, not at all. She's like, I think I was invited because of Sam. She's like, Sam's the one that called me, invited me. I think that he done it just because that's who he is and he wants to see me and Juliet make amends. But I don't think Juliet had anything to do with me coming. I don't even feel like she wants me here. Over on the other side, we have Juliet, Sam, Hannah, Amanda, and Camilla. And Camilla asked, did y'all see Brandon and Jordana like dancing a while ago, like all up on each other? And everybody's like, yep, we saw it. Hannah actually asked Sam, she's like, what do you think about Jordana? Like, she's your friend, so what do you think about her? And Juliet says that Sam has a soft spot for Jordana. She's like, I don't know, Sam has a soft spot for Jordana. They're friends. And Sam says, I just really feel bad because Jordana put so much into that painting. And you guys like laughed at her and said that it looked like her. You didn't like it. Everybody laughed about it. And y'all said that the painting looked like her instead of Juliet. So like, I feel bad and I just don't want to be mean to her. Amanda's like, she's very flirty though. I just don't like the way she's like always flirting with you, even in front of Juliet. And Sam says that's just kind of who Jordana is. She's a very flirty girl. You know, she flirts with me. She flirts with BG. But he says that Jordana would never cross that line, and neither would he. I don't believe him. But anyways, Hannah's like, you better not cross that line. And once again, his face just like drops. And I'm like, he looks so guilty. So back over on the other side, Jay asked Jordana, like, what's the deal with BG? He's like, I saw you guys over there hanging out. So what's the deal? Jordana says, like, I don't know. I like him. I think he's cute. But at the same time, I love Camilla. So, like, I just don't know what to do. And I'm like, girl, love Camilla my butt. No, you don't. But then she says, she's like, I would rather hang out with BG than Camilla though. Madison tells her, she's like, look, BG is hung up on Camilla. He wants her back. So I wouldn't even get involved in that. Like, you know, BG is still in love with Camilla. You know that that's who he wants to be with. So I wouldn't even like dip my toes in that, because that's just like asking for problems. You're going to be in a mess if you do that. So I would just leave it alone. Ish is like, oh, I disagree. Like, we're adults here. We're on this private island. Now is the time to have fun. BG can do what he wants. Jordana, you can do what you want. You're an adult. Don't do anything to make anybody else happy. Just make yourself happy. Like, have fun for yourself. And I was like, oh, he straight up went against Madison, didn't he? And Madison's like, look, I know that Camilla is hurt by this. Like, I know Camilla is still very hurt. And if BG was to hook up with anyone, especially Jordana, like, it would just hurt her more. And I just don't see the point in that. Like, don't do it. Leave it alone so it's not in Camilla's face. And she's not hurt. And Ish is like, look, if you're into Brandon and he's into you, then do you, girl. Brandon is just like a few feet ahead of them, sitting by the water. And he's sitting there, and then Jordana walks over to him and starts flirting. She asks him about Camilla, and he says that he's there to have fun. And you could tell, like, her face just lights up. Like, she's like, so what about Camilla? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just here to have fun. And she's like, oh, great. Then they like cheers, they drink, and they go down by the water. And after they get down by the water, they start making out. And they're literally just like a few feet from Camilla and Juliet and all of them. And Camilla's actually facing that way. So they start making out, and Camilla's like, you guys see that? And everybody turns, and everybody sees Brandon and Jordana making out. Camilla starts crying because, of course, she's hurt. Goes to commercial. The next scene actually shows Jordana back over with her set of people. Jordana and BG, they made out. They don't walk back over to their seats. And Kelsey asked Jordana, like, what was going on down there with her and Brandon. That she seemed to be down there for a while. And Jordana's like, well, we may have made out. And Kelsey asked if Camilla could see. And Jordana says, well, yeah. Brandon actually got up and he goes to walk, like, somewhere else. But as he's walking, he walks by Madison and Ish's little space, little area. And Madison says, Brandon, be careful. Brandon says, how? And he walks over to her. He's like, be careful, how? And she's like, listen, you just made out with Jordana right in front of Camilla. If you want to hang out with Jordana, by all means do it. But don't do it in front of Camilla's face. That hurts her. Like, you just hurt her. And she's like, if your plans are to not get Camilla back, then by all means, whatever. But if you have any ounce of you that thinks that you're going to try to get back with Camilla, then this is not the way to do it. Like, you are just going to make it worse for yourself by doing something like this. Like, you literally just made out with someone in front of her. And he's like, me and Camilla are not together. She won't take me back. I messed up. And Madison's like, yes, you messed up. You had a baby with someone else. It's your fault, so you should do the punishment. And if you want to get back with her, you're just going to have to, like, toe the line and build her trust back. But this isn't the way to do it. Ish, like, defends Brandon. He's like, they were off by themselves. It's not his fault if Camilla could see it, because they were off by themselves. Like, Brandon, do you? And I'm like, golly, Ish, what is your like, really? Next scene, we see Juliet actually walk over to Jordana's table, and she asks her what happened. And Jordana says, well, we kind of made out. And Juliet says that it looks bad what she's doing. She's like, look, you just made out with Brandon right in front of Camilla's face. It looks bad. I don't think you should be doing that. Like, I'm worried about Camilla. Like, I see how hurt she is. And you just done that right in front of her face. Like, why would you do that? Jordana is basically, like, laughing at her. She's like, oh, whatever. Okay. Ha, ha, ha. Juliet, you could tell, like, really starts getting mad. And she's like, look, I know how you are. You need to stop. And Jordana's like, look, I know how you are. Kelsey is actually right behind them. Like, every time the camera is on Juliet, you can see Kelsey right back there. So Kelsey actually gets up and she's like, this is awkward, I'm leaving. So she walks away. Juliet basically tells Jordana, like, it's a bad look. You're hurting Camilla. Like, don't do it in front of her face. Juliet goes back over to her table and everyone's like, what did you say to her? And she's like, I just told her that, like, she's hurting Camilla, not to do it. Like, if her and Brandon want to make out, whatever, just don't do it where it's right there in front of Camilla's face. Everybody, like, agrees. So, like, yeah, like, that's the issue. The issue is not so much that he's doing it, but the way he's doing it right in front of her face. And then Camilla says, it bothers me because he emails me every day telling me that he's going to give me back, telling me that he wants to be with me, but then he here making out with Jordana. I don't get it. It's not okay. Juliet actually asked Kelsey, she's like, and why did you get up and walk away? Kelsey says, I don't know, it's just like awkward. So I got up and walked off. Juliet says, I feel like you got up and walked off because you didn't want to be beside me for like 5 minutes. And Kelsey says, no, it was just awkward. Like, it wasn't that. It was just really awkward. And she laughs. Juliet seems to be aggravated by her answer. And she says, it's a joke, Juliet, lighten up. At that point, you can actually see she's like making jokes with her. So you could tell that she's actually trying to like kind of have fun and joke with her. And Juliet's like not having it. The next scene is actually Max and Sam. And they're actually like in a little hammock together. Sam is like kind of running his mouth about Juliet. I thought he was like a good guy. But now I'm like not digging Sam. He's like, we're so far away from where we live, you would think that we could have fun, but no, like they're gonna bring their drama all the way over here. Then his friend is like, why do you think Juliet brought her little army? So if she needed like backup, she would have it. Like that's why she brought them. And Sam's like, I just don't get it. Like I don't know why everyone just can't like keep their nose in their own business. I don't know why it's always got to be drama. And he tells Max, if I ever start a swimwear line, feel free to start one on your own. I'm not gonna be jealous. The next scene is actually Mike, Sam, one of Juliet's friends named Lexi, and Jordana. They're sitting at the bar, and Jordana is clearly wasted. Mike actually makes a cheers to like a great month. He's like, thank you, Sam, for doing this. We're going to have a great month. And they cheers. And Jordana, she's like, yes, I love Sam. And everyone's like, what? She's like, I just love Sam. I would make out with him if I could, but Juliet's here and I know she would get mad. Juliet's friend's like, what did you say? Like, did you really just say you would make out with him? And Jordana's like, yeah, I would if Juliet wasn't here. The friend like gets mad and like calls Jordana out. She's like, you should not say that. Like, he has a girlfriend and his girlfriend is my friend. And that is disrespectful. So Lexi, the friend, after like telling Jordana off, she walks off and she walks over to where Juliet and a lot of other people are. And she tells Juliet, she's like, you guys are not going to believe what I just heard. And everyone's like, what? She's like, Jordana just said that she loves Sam and that she would make out with him if Juliet wasn't here. So Juliet is like, oh, heck no. Juliet walks over to the bar and she like sits down. She's like, so what's going on? And Sam's friend, Mike, I think his name is Mike. I hope I got that right. Mike's like, oh, Jordana was just telling us how she loves Sam and if she could, she would make out with him. And Sam's like, and Juliet's like, really? Really? And she's like, Sam, is that true? Did she say that? And Sam's like, I don't want to talk about it. We'll talk about it later, babe. We don't even need to talk about it. Just leave it alone. Let it go. We'll talk about it later. And Juliet's like, no, did she say that? And he's like, I'm not answering that. And he gets up and he like walks off. And then she tells Jordana, she's like, what is wrong with you? And Jordana says, what is wrong with you? And everything that Juliet would say, Jordana would like repeat it. Juliet's like, you know he's in a relationship. Like, you know that's my boyfriend. So why would you say that about someone that's in a relationship? And Jordana says, well, I can't help it if someone's attracted to me. Juliet's just like so irritated. She gets up and she like walks off. And that's the end of that episode. The next episode, I can't wait. I'm excited for her because I'm like, this Jordana girl is bringing the drama. Like, she don't even care. She's like Kelsey was a few seasons back on steroids. She's like, Kara. Oh, by the way, Kara's coming back. So they're all on this private island. Kara comes in on the next episode, and you could tell that Garrett and his girlfriend were not happy about that. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. If I was Juliet, I would be highly upset with Sam. Sam should have looked at Jordana and should have been like, don't say that. Like, we're friends and we're cool, but I have a girlfriend and you were being so disrespectful to my girlfriend right now. But he didn't. I really feel like Sam and Jordana, there's something going on there. Either now or, which we know they slept together in the past, but I don't know. I think there's more to it than what we know about, because every time she's mentioned, he gets this weird look on his face. Every time it's talked about, like the fact that she likes him, he gets this weird look on his face. So I just think something's up with that. You guys leave your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you guys think of this episode? How do you guys think the next few episodes are going to play out of them on this private island? I feel like if I was Juliet, I would be making Sam put her on a boat back home. Jordana would not be on that island no more. We do know that in the next episode, BG is questioned over whether or not he may have slept with Jordana. I want to see Sam's reaction because BG is asked that in front of Sam. Sam and Mike, they're in the pool and BG's like standing beside the pool. And someone asked BG like, hey, did you sleep with her? I want to see Sam's reaction because I feel like that's going to be a kind of a telling sign as well based on how his face looks when BG's asked that. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. Are you guys liking Jordana? Are you like me? Like, I don't like her. I don't like her character, but I like what she's bringing to the season just because it's so much entertainment. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Next week, I will be back with another recap. This Thursday, when it airs, I will try to put the recap up next Friday, but if I can't get to it, Monday at the latest is when I should have it up. Give this video a big thumbs up. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure you do that right now.
I upload weekly recaps of Mama June, Road to Redemption, Siesta Key, and I've got to get back on covering Teen Mom. That's what I usually do, and I haven't been able to do that lately just because everything's been crazy, but I will be getting on that as well.
Let me know what you think. Give this video a thumbs up. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.